This is an Oklahoma Votes election update.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We are starting to get the results of the primary this year. Some pretty exciting races going on right now.
Certainly one issue that's captured a lot of attention throughout this election season is State Question 788, the proposal to legalize medical marijuana in Oklahoma.
Let's go to the results that we have so far. 9% of precincts reporting. Right now, 55% of voters saying yes to 45% saying no. But again, still a lot of precincts yet to report their results. But it's anticipated to be a fairly close race by some.
Only 9% of the precincts in on that one. News on 6's Amy Kaufman is live at the Circle Cinema in Tulsa, where supporters of 788 are planning a watch party. Amy?
That's right. Oklahomans for Cannabis is moments ago when you guys read the results, the room just erupted, as you can see right here. Everybody's watching Channel 6 here. But many supporters here are just feeling very confident about this vote tonight, and they are very proud, of course, of the turnout. I also spoke with some opponents earlier today that believe it could create problems for Oklahoma. But here at the watch party, I've spoken with several people. One is a stage 4 cancer survivor who had to travel to Colorado to get help. He's been in remission for 4 years now. Now, I also spoke with a family who's just hoping this will pass tonight. Sean Jenkins' son is named Carver, and he suffers from a rare brain disorder that causes him to have seizures. And they say legalizing medical marijuana could mean big things for Carver.
When you finally find the opportunity that there is something that can help him and make things better for him, you're going to fight like hell to make that happen.
Now, but here at the watch party, many people, every time, of course, that this vote comes across the screen, they just erupt, just cheering. But we'll continue to have these updates throughout the night here on News on 6. Live on the scene, on the story in Tulsa, Amy Kaufman, News on 6.
Thanks, Amy, and much more to come throughout the evening.
Stick with us.
This is an Oklahoma Votes election update.
Welcome back. I'm Dave Davis, and we have you fully covered here on the 2018 primary election here on election night. We are on Facebook Live right now. We welcome in our YouTube viewers. We welcome in News on 6 app viewers, as well as folks on newson6.com from all over the country and all over the area. So thank you for watching tonight as we are following election results. They're coming in some cases, almost 10% of precincts are reporting, so more steady numbers. Those numbers are starting to roll in here in Oklahoma. It's 8 o'clock right now Central Time. Polls closed at 7 o'clock, so they've been closed for an hour, and those vote totals are still coming in. We have, of course, live crews all across the state at watch parties, and we have speeches going to be coming soon for some of our candidates, so we're going to stand by for that, and we'll let you know when one of the candidates for governor is about ready to take the podium. But let's take a look at some of the numbers. And again, all of you folks on Facebook, you're awesome. You're asking us for these results. So here we go. We've got the Democratic primary for governor, Drew Edmondson, 13% of precincts reporting, and he has had a comfortable lead from the get-go, really. At this point, he's 66% over Connie Johnson's 34%, and he has almost 40,000 votes. Connie at about 20. Libertarian primary, this is for governor as well. Chris Powell holding steady at 49%, flirting with that 50% mark. Rex Lawhorn at 32%, and Joe Exotic at 18%. Remember, if no one gets more than 50%, that could go to a runoff on August 28th. That will be the runoff election. Also, Oklahoma voters, of course, deciding today on State Question 788, which would legalize medical marijuana. It started off as a grassroots effort. They gained enough petitions to get it on the ballot, and then really in the last month or so, well-funded opposition came in and did a lot of opposition campaigning to, again, oppose 788. So it'll be interesting how this shakes out tonight. But so far, there's 15% of precincts reporting. Yes votes coming in at 54%, no votes 46%. And so that is the early look at voting for medical marijuana. And again, if you didn't know, this would legalize the use and cultivation of marijuana for medical purposes. You would have to have an Oklahoma State board certified physician sign off on your medical marijuana license. It would have to get approved through the Oklahoma State Department of Health, and that marijuana license to use for medical purposes would be good for 2 years, and you would be allowed marijuana in several ways. According to the law, the way it reads, you'd be able to not only consume marijuana legally, but you could possess up to 3 ounces of marijuana on your person, 6 mature plants, 6 seedlings, 1 ounce of concentrated, 72 ounces of edibles, and also 8 ounces of marijuana in your residence. Again, you would have to have that medical marijuana license to be able to do that. So there's, of course, many other races going on at the local level, and on TV you're going to be able to see a ticker where different races are going to be showing up that we just can't simply cover here in the time that we have. We know that we're waiting to see, but we've heard that Kevin Stitt, one of the governor's candidates on the Republican side, he is set to take the podium at some point. So hopefully we'll get to that eventually, but we do want to show you one of the most tightly contested races and high-profile races in the state right now. This is the Republican primary for governor. Who will be the next governor of Oklahoma? Former Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett jumped out to an early lead, but now we're about 17% of precincts reporting. He's at 27%. Todd Lamb, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb, 26%. Kevin Stitt has fallen back to third now at 24%. Again, the top 2 will go to a runoff if no one gets more than 50% of the vote, and that runoff will be August 28th. Dan Fisher, who's run on a platform of abolishing abortion, he is at 8%. Gary Jones, state auditor, at 6%. Gary Richardson at 5%. Blake Cowboy Stevens, school counselor up near Locust Grove, he's at 3%. And then Christopher Barnett at 1%. And even more governor candidates in this race. This is a very crowded field. Barry Gowdy and Eric Fouch, each at 1%. And again, this is the Republican primary for governor of Oklahoma. We want to now go to, if we can, I've managed this week to put together a list of the different social media accounts, the different Facebook pages of many of the candidates. So let's just kind of scroll through. We're following, of course, the Oklahoma State Board of Election. They're explaining the primary runoff rule there and how that applies in this state. They explain absentee votes. So that's what's going on with the Oklahoma State Election Board's Facebook page. Let's keep scrolling down because many candidates have been taking pictures of themselves all day, voting with their families, voting with their wives, last-minute campaigning, last-minute interviews. This is one of the groups for 788. They're called Oklahomans for Health. That's their watch party from earlier. That was posted, just about an hour ago or so, 45 minutes ago. There's Drew Edmondson's page. You can see Jason Nichols. He's a Democrat running in the congressional primary for District 2. And basically, whoever wins the Democratic primary will have the chance to face off likely against Markwayne Mullin, but you just never know, because Markwayne Mullin drew 3 opponents in District 2 this year. So again, we scroll down, we have Chris Powell. This is his recent Facebook post. He's a Libertarian candidate. Currently leading the field there in the primaries. We scroll down, Jaron Jackson. He is going up against Markwayne Mullin in District 2 for the House District. You can see there with one of his kids. Amanda Douglas, also a congressional candidate. She's been outspoken on her support for 788. You can see there. Kevin Stitt posted this 2 hours ago, and we've seen this as a common theme as I've just been looking through Facebook. And again, by the way, welcome in to all of our Facebook Live viewers, our YouTube viewers, and our newson6.com and News on 6 app viewers. We appreciate you. Looking through Facebook, you're seeing this a lot, and obviously no surprise, but one more hour. This was posted 2 hours ago. So, one more hour, get out there and vote, get out there and vote. A lot of reminders, and you can see as you keep scrolling down, Kevin Hearn has been out and about in the community. Nathan Dahm posted a video. He's running for Congress. A pre-watch party picture there for Gary Richardson. So those are getting older now. We're about 2 hours ago or so. But a good follow, and one I would recommend on social media, would be the Oklahoma State Election Board. They're obviously very active in explaining a lot of questions that you may have about elections in Oklahoma. So we now want to go to News on 6's Megan Farley. We understand she is with one of the Attorney General candidates, Mike Hunter. Megan, how's it going?
We are, Dave. Hello. Hello. Good evening. We have a little delay here. I'll tell you, you're doing a really great job, really holding down this Facebook Live. So, yes, we are here. Apologies if I have to talk a little loud. This room is filling up. We're here in Oklahoma City with Attorney General incumbent Mike Hunter. So I'm just going to step out of the way and show you a little bit here. I've spoken with a lot of folks. Many grew up with him, have supported him in the past, continues to support him. And, we spoke with him about a number of things earlier. We talked to him about the campaign. We also talked to him about his suing for damages last year, Purdue Pharma and other opioid manufacturers. And we just kind of talked to him about how things are going. And he said it really takes quite a team to make these campaigns work. He's feeling good so far tonight. So let's take a listen to some of the sound bites we got from Attorney General Mike Hunter earlier.
These campaigns are not one man or one woman or one person bands. They're an exercise in democracy that requires dozens, scores, hundreds of people helping you out, being selfless, being committed to a greater good, if you will. I'm most proud of my team and what we've been able to accomplish with regard to the opioid epidemic, getting better policy, getting a lawsuit down the road that's going to hold individuals accountable, companies accountable. Everything that we've communicated in this election about my opponent has been substantiated by a website with case files and news stories. So I don't think it's negative to make sure the public understands there's a difference between he and me.
Okay, so there you have it. We also just checked the numbers. And it looks like it's 45% to 39% over other fellow Republican candidate Gintner Drummond there in Tulsa. So we also spoke to Mike Hunter a little bit about just what he might think about a possible runoff, because there is a third candidate in this case. So a lot of people are kind of expecting a runoff there. So again, Dave, I'll send it back to you. But for now, we are here in Oklahoma City. This room is filling up, a lot of excitement incumbent Mike Hunter here. So check back with us as you feel necessary. We'll let you know as soon as something else happens. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
On Facebook Live or on TV, we will be checking back with you, Megan. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And of course, as Megan mentioned, the primary for the Republican primary, rather, is there is no Democrat primary for the Attorney General. So the Republican primary for Attorney General could very well go to a runoff. We have seen a lot of political advertising on both sides for Gentner Drummond and Mike Hunter, the top two candidates in vote getting right now. And again, if neither one gets 50%, we're going to a runoff, and that will be more campaigning until August 28th, which is the date of the runoff election. Again, that one's tight, but unless someone gets more than 50%, again, that will be a runoff. Let's take a look at Lieutenant Governor. This is the number 2 for the Democrat primary. And this is, of course, the number 2 to the governor. There's been some talk that eventually will there be a law passed in Oklahoma where the governor and lieutenant governor will eventually have to run on the same ticket. We will see if that law ever comes to fruition. There's been a lot of talk about it, but for now, governor, lieutenant governor, separate. They run separate. So the lieutenant governor Democrat primary, Anna Dearmore, has pulled into the early lead over State Senator Anastasia Pittman, 52% to 48%. And Anna Dearmore, a real estate broker down in Okmulgee. Let's take a look at Lieutenant Governor now on the Republican side. Former Corporation Commissioner Dana Murphy. She is up 44% to Matt Pinnell's 38%, with now 23 of precincts reporting. So we are almost at a quarter of all precincts reporting in this case. So more and more votes are coming in now, an hour and 13 minutes after polls have closed. So Dana Murphy, 44%. Matt Pinnell, 38%. Eddie Fields roping in 14% so far, and Dominique DeMond-Block at 4%. The superintendent of schools. This is a race where you have an incumbent, Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister. She's running. Earlier, she was in a very comfortable lead, and let's take a look at the numbers now with, again, almost a quarter of precincts reporting. We're almost at 25% mark. Joy Hoffmeister up 46% to the nearest contender, Linda Murphy, at 30%, and Will Farrell down at 23% in third place. But again, you do have to get more than 50% of the vote to avoid a runoff. If you're Joy Hoffmeister in this case, you're close, but that is eligible for a runoff potentially. Of course, U.S. congressional districts, there's been a lot of talk of what's going to happen with the House and the Senate on the national level. What's going to happen with the U.S. House? What's going to happen with the U.S. Senate? Will they both remain in Republican control? And of course, all of the House districts in Oklahoma are Republican controlled right now. For District 1, this covers Tulsa, Washington, Wagner County, and parts of a couple others. This used to be Jim Bridenstine's seat. He's now at NASA. So this, we expected to be a tight race, and that's coming through for us because you're seeing Tim Harris at 29%, Kevin Hearn at 24%, and Andy Coleman at 23%. We will have more results for you after this break on Facebook Live, but stay with us. We will be back in just a few minutes.